This is General Mark Milley. He's the highest ranking general in the United States of America. Within the US military hierarchy, this man ranks right at the top. He's the chairman of the US Joint Chiefs of Staff. So he's the leader of the entire US military, the most powerful armed force on the face of the planet. What General Milley says is important, and what he has to say won't be pleasing to the Ukrainian regime. Army General Mark Milley has sounded a warning bell for Ukraine. He has said that Ukraine cannot completely defeat Russia in the ongoing war because Russia remains a superior force that still has a lot of combat abilities. General Mark Milley said, "The probability of a Ukrainian military victory, defined as kicking the Russians out of all of Ukraine to include what they claim as Crimea, the probability of that happening anytime soon is not high, militarily." Here's some context. Ukraine has been making some really bullish claims of late. These include unrealistic goals of kicking Russia out of all territories that it has captured since February and also retaking Crimea. In return, Ukraine continues to demand for more military aid from the United States and elsewhere. But the top American general has subtly been pushing Ukraine to negotiate with Russia. He's been doing that for many days now. General Milley also said, "There may be a political solution where politically the Russians withdraw. That's possible. But a military victory for Ukraine, that's not going to happen." Ukraine's allies are suffering. Countries in the West, like the United States, and those in Europe have given a lot of military aid to Ukraine. But Ukraine has been using these weapons at a very fast pace. Its allies aren't being able to keep up with the pace and manufacture replacements on time. As a result, Western countries are seeing their own weapons stockpiles getting depleted, leaving them in a vulnerable position. Ukraine could soon see itself not getting military aid from its allies. For example, the US is running low on some high-end weapon systems and ammunition available to transfer to Kiev. Stockpiles of the 155mm howitzers, Stinger missiles, and the HIMARS systems are worst affected. Several US officials quoted by CNN said that the stockpiles of certain systems are dwindling after nearly 9 months of sending supplies to Kiev. But why is that? Well, because the US has a finite amount of excess stocks which it can spare for Ukraine. Only a limited amount. And the country isn't being able to rapidly manufacture weapon systems at a pace which Ukraine requires them. So the top American general is now pushing for negotiations between Russia and Ukraine. Recently, General Mark Milley was reported to be pushing the Biden administration to convey to Ukraine that it was now time to return to the negotiating table with Russia. Clearly, the war has been protracted for far too long. There are larger considerations which the US military is now taking into account. US and NATO allies cannot begin compromising on their own combat readiness to help Ukraine. That means they must compromise on the kind of aid that they've been giving to Ukraine, and that isn't good news for Kiev. How do you see things playing out for Ukraine?